Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Brad Bond in for Phil Gallagher. Now to the news. Well, the Burlington Police Department has 2 new members. At Monday night's Board of Selectmen meeting, Town Administrator John Petrin appointed Keith Hodges Jr. and Matthew Trahan to the force at the recommendation of Burlington Police Chief Michael Kent. Officer Keith Hodges Jr. graduated from Stonehill College with a Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and a minor in Spanish, a release from the department states. He comes to the department after having served with the Barnstable Police Department for over a year as its community service officer. Additionally, he acted as the treasurer in the Criminology Club while at Stonehill and volunteered with My Brother's Keeper, a nonprofit organization that helps families in need. Kent said his hands-on experience with the community, along with his proficient language skills in Spanish, will be a welcome addition to the department in his role as patrol officer. Officer Hodges graduated from Woburn High School and is the son of Keith and Deborah Hodges of Woburn. Officer Matthew Trahan, is it Trahan? I'll learn it eventually, graduated from Lemoyne College in Syracuse, New York with a Bachelor of Science in Criminology. Trahan, a resident of Burlington, graduated from Burlington High School and is the son of Martin and Nora Trahan. Kent said Trahan's work experience as a correctional officer with the Middlesex Sheriff's Office in Billerica, combined with his experience as a security officer with Andrews International Government Services over in Bedford, provide an excellent foundation on which to continue to build his career. Likewise, Officer Trahan has considerable language skills in Arabic, as well as having numerous certifications in first aid, CPR, and AED usage, and is first responder certified, along with being trained in active shooter while at the Sheriff's Department. At the meeting, Petrin said he was pleased with the backgrounds and credentials of the new officers. The Board of Selectmen voted unanimously to waive the 15-day waiting period on new town employees. Well, welcome to Burlington to both the new officers. Well, a development project that has garnered a lot of interest was given permission to construct a sign on town property. The Board of Selectmen on Monday voted to approve a freestanding sign on a strip of town property off of Center Street and Cambridge Street to list shops for the incoming Shops at Simons Park project, which is being built on the former Building 19.5 site. Attorney Mark Vaughn of Riemann Bronstein and Stephen Duffy of Duffy Properties, the Waltham-based development company that owns the property, were at the meeting to argue for the sign. Vaughn said that part of the project includes 2 retail buildings, one along Cambridge Street and another at the back end of the property. Because the stores in the back will be difficult to see from the road, the property owners were seeking permission for a standalone sign that would list the businesses. He said that after quite a bit of analysis, designers concluded the best location would be right over the property line near Cambridge Street and Center Street. He said that under the town's general bylaws, the Board of Selectmen does have the ability to approve signage in a public way or on public property. In the lead up to the meeting, Vaughn and Duffy had worked closely with Board of Selectmen Vice Chair Joseph Morandi and Selectman Michael Runyon on the details of the proposal. Both said that those talks had been fruitful. The result of those talks was the proposed sign in front of the board on Monday. It would be roughly 14 feet high, a 14-foot high structure done in style similar to the building, so it blends in with the project. It will be lit by lights at the base, and there are ongoing discussions concerning small lights at the top, though Morandi and Runyon said they want to discuss those further with Duffy Properties. In the end, the board voted unanimously to allow the sign to be put on the town's property on the condition that the details about the lighting be worked out with Runyon and Morandi. Well, the Burlington Public School System has been working on a variety of projects throughout the summer. One of their biggest projects is the installation of solar panels on the roofs of both Burlington High School and the Marshall Simons Middle School. BNews reporter Robert Paris went to go check out the upcoming project.
Things don't slow down in the summer at Burlington Public Schools. There are many projects going on while the students are enjoying their summer vacation. Last week I spoke to the Director of Facility, Finance, and Technology, Bob Kuna, who talked about the upcoming solar panel installations in the Burlington school system.
So right now, as you can see behind us, we have the solar project going on. We have a team of over 40 contractors that are installing solar panels on the high school and the Marshall Simons Middle School as well. Not expected to be completed till roughly October, but big project ahead of us.
So, why solar panels?
The reason we are choosing solar panels for the high school and the middle school is because there are 2 largest footprints of roofs. We would like to have done this throughout the whole entire town to offer the town and the schools a savings on energy, but the 2 high school and middle school actually have the biggest footprints of town-owned property, so that's why we chose to do it at these 2 buildings.
Mr. Kuna hopes that the solar panel project will help the school system save electrical costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
The reason the solar project is happening is to lessen our impact of resources that we're using. So these panels going on will provide us ways of generating our own electricity to help offset that what we're naturally pulling off the grid. So the plan is to see a reduction in yearly costs for us in electricity, but also to help save the planet little by little by not generating as much using gases and other resources. Well, I hope the outcome will be that we realize how much electricity we're using. In future years, we'll see a reduction in our impact of the earth. And hopefully we can save a little bit of money in future years as well too with the generation of solar power.
Besides the solar panel project, there are many other projects happening inside and outside the school.
Well, the custodians always have a busy time this year, not just at the high school, but every one of our schools. Maintaining, cleaning, stripping all of our floors, painting projects happening. So those are the bigger projects that happen every single year. At the high school, you'll see that we're renovating the field house. That's getting a new roof on it, new paint. That's going to be a great new building. We are working on the elementary schools. We did a new floor project at Pine Glen. We have a new lighting system and new driveway going in at Francis Wyman. Fox Hill is having additional walls put in to create more learning spaces. So everyone's busy in the maintenance department this year.
From Burlington High School, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Thank you, Robert. Wow, a lot going on. Well, the town of Burlington has a new look on the internet. Last week, the town rolled out a new website for the town departments, public safety, and schools that is a marked update over the previous iteration. Town clerk Amy Warfield, who has led the new website project, said the update is intended to give residents better access to municipal information by having a more modern, streamlined website. Warfield said the previous design was about 3 years old and there were some functions it couldn't do. The new site has new menus now with technology that wasn't available when the previous site was created that are easier to use. In all, the website revamp took between 6 and 9 months, Warfield said. During that time, she worked with the other town departments to learn their needs, including the schools, library, parks and recreation, and public safety agencies. Another new feature of the site is its connection to department social media accounts. Visitors can see the latest tweets put out by some departments on their dedicated pages. Warfield said that since the site rolled out, she has heard positive feedback from users and members of the public, and there have been no major issues. I was able to find the town calendar on there myself, so nicely done, Amy. And our next report, there's a new restaurant looking to move into Burlington, and they received the right to sell alcohol at the Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday. The board granted an all-alcohol license to Black and Blue Steak and Crab, an upscale full-service restaurant specializing in steak and seafood fare, planning on taking up residency at the Marriott Residence Inn Hotel being built in the district. The restaurant will be a 7,500 square foot location inside the hotel, but will also have its own entrance from the outside. It will also have outdoor seating available for diners. The restaurant will serve lunch and dinner and will also provide room service during the hours the kitchen is open. The hotel will provide breakfast separately. The first Black and Blue Steak and Crab was opened in Rochester, New York, and has grown to 3 locations in the state. This will be the first location outside of New York for the restaurant group. There was also an application to name Charles Fitzsimmons, one of the owners of the restaurant, as the manager of record. He said at the previous meeting he's been working in the restaurant business since 1997 when the group opened their first restaurant. He further said he is TIPS certified and has an understanding of Burlington's liquor laws. He said his first job in the business was as a bouncer, a position that provides a lot of experience in controlling the consumption of alcohol. And water has been a hot topic in Burlington the last couple of years, and the issue was put in high relief last year when a drought forced the town to issue a watering ban. This week, Town Administrator John Petrin and DPW Director John Sanchez met to discuss the situation in depth, and BNews Director Rich Hosford went to check it out. He has this report.
On Wednesday, Burlington Town Administrator John Petrin and Department of Public Works Director John Sanchez met at the Vine Brook Water Treatment Facility to discuss water issues facing the town of Burlington for a new edition of the BCAT show, The Town Administrator's Corner. It was a wide-ranging talk that touched on the facility's history with contamination, current water usage, and possible solutions for the future. I asked Petrin why he felt this was an important discussion to take up at this time.
I think there's been a lot of discussion out there. So we heard it at town meeting the last time, and we just need to get the information out. It's hard to get information out these days. Even though there's social media, this is a big discussion. So we thought trying to put it on film and get it out there and try to get more of the information out was critical.
And what, in his opinion, are the big takeaways viewers should understand about Burlington's current water situation?
That we're at a maximum capacity, during the summer, and that is because of the proliferation of irrigation systems. Our water is very safe. We're well within limits. Even though we have an issue with the 1,4-dioxane, we've cut that, that train off. It's been cut off for several years, as you hear, and that we're addressing that. But we do need to address our future, and that's what these options are going to discuss.
What was that big word? It's 1,4-dioxane, an organic compound that was used as a solvent in many industrial activities and is a widespread ground contaminant and one of the reasons Burlington is currently at maximum capacity. In 2011, a new method of testing for it was introduced, and for the first time it was detected in some of Burlington's wells. At the same time, the state changed its regulations.
Well, what happened at that point, too, is simultaneously with that, the Department of Environmental Protection said, okay, we're going to drop the limit that is safe for drinking water from 3 parts per billion, which is 3 micrograms per liter, which is a very tiny amount. We're going to reduce that from 3 to 0.3. Now, once that happened is we saw some of our wells, particularly here at the Vinebrook Treatment Plant location, which is our wells 3, 4, and 5, they show levels higher than 0.3.
That meant that some wells had to be turned off, which put a strain on how much water the town can produce.
Yeah, we have 7 wells. Out of the 7, 4 are working right now. So what that did, once that we found that 1,4-dioxane and we took those wells offline because we didn't want to introduce that into our water system, we reduced our capacity from a little bit over 3 million gallons per day to 2 million gallons per day at the Vinebrook Treatment Plant.
Sanchez said the problem with the reduced capacity is compounded by the rise of one particular type of water usage that is putting a strain on the system.
Yeah, well, the biggest strain that we see is actually the irrigation systems people have in their homes. Our total supply and our demand actually in the town has been lower and lower every year for the last 15, 20 years. So actually we're using less water as a total in a year's time than we ever used before. However, in the summertime, our water has increased dramatically. Now, we see that the new restaurants and the new homes and everything else you see new going in, they have the new water-saving devices, whether it is like toilets that are water-saver, whether it is the dishwashers, washing machines that once you buy today, they use very little water. So we see that the regular water that people use is lower, but the irrigation systems are really, really creating a big problem for us. We see for every hour people use an irrigation system, we see that being probably 600 to 900 gallons being used in 1 hour when you water your lawns, versus if a family of 4 were to use water for the entire day, as they typically do, they may use 200 gallons. So there's a big difference between what a regular person uses during the day as opposed to what we use to water our lawns.
So what can be done? Can Burlington clean its water supply? Are there other sources of clean water?
Yeah, we have several options right now, and yes, there is treatment for 1,4-dioxane. It's fairly new, so this is not something that people have been doing for many, many years. To the industrial size that we need to do it is being used relatively in very few places, but there is treatment available, oxidation, and that will add probably about $5 million worth of cost to just build a facility to treat for 1,4-dioxane. So that's a possibility. And then we have other water supplies. We could have additional wells in a place where they're not contaminated. We don't know what that is, by the way. We don't have a study that shows us that we can go to an old aquifer, but there's always a possibility. Another one is getting water from our neighbors. I mean, we can get water from Bill Ricca. We haven't talked to them about it, but say if they have water available, or we can get water from the MWRA. So we do have options going forward in the future.
Of course, all those options come with a cost and will be part of a continued discussion. The next session of the Town Meeting's Water Supply Committee will be held on Monday, August 21st at 6:30 p.m. in the Town Hall Annex Meeting Room B, and possible future solutions will be discussed. For now, at the Vinebrook Water Treatment Facility, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
Thank you, Rich. Well, Burlington Superintendent of Schools Eric Conti penned an open letter to Burlington students in the wake of the incidents in Charlottesville, Virginia over the weekend. On Saturday, a demonstration by white nationalists and neo-Nazis that had started the night before erupted in violence, and they clashed with counter-protesters. Later in the day, a man drove a Dodge Challenger into the group of counter-protesters, injuring at least 19 and killing a 32-year-old woman. In his letter, Conti said that last week he was in the area of Charlottesville. He said it was heartbreaking to hear that a city he often enjoys was being violated by visiting members of hate groups like the KKK, neo-Nazis, and white supremacist organizations. That peacekeeping people were killed impacted his thoughts even further. He asked, how do we maintain a community of learners rich in diversity while there are groups of adults spewing hate and other adults attempting to normalize this heinous behavior? He answered his own question by saying adults simply need to look inside the school's classrooms and learn from the students. He said he sees classrooms where everyone is accepted regardless of faith, culture, ability, economic standing, or other differences. Conti continued by saying that in Burlington Public Schools, all members of the faculty administration work to foster a safe and inclusive environment, and that students should feel secure in all of the school buildings. You can find a link to the full letter at our website at www.bcattv.org/bnews. And Burlington is growing in just about every way, and that includes homes being bought, sold, and renovated. That means plenty of work for local contractors and home improvement specialists. BNews reporter Tad Stefanek had this story on a hometown business building itself from the ground up. Let's watch.
The words artisan and craft are thrown around a lot these days, but good craftsmanship has always been the hallmark of quality in aesthetics and function. And for the last few years, Burlington has developed its own hometown artisanship in the form of Willow Carpentry. Proprietor Pete Bruckler, born and raised in Burlington and played varsity hockey for the Red Devils, was inspired for his trade by his grandfather.
Because he liked to build fine boxes, little jewelry boxes and toys and stuff, so I always looked up to him, and his passion, and kind of like I fell in love with it already. My whole family line is a bunch of like contractors or architects, designers. My passion is art and graphic design and architecture, so I kind of, with my woodworking passion combined, I have a few passions, obviously.
I asked Pete how he got started with Willow Carpentry.
2 years ago, I just said, I do better than everyone I've been working for. I mean, my passion is a lot stronger than everyone I've ever worked for, and I know I can give better projects to my customers, better materials. So, I dove into it myself part-time and found a love for it, and people started asking for me to do their decks, to do their kitchens, to do their exterior remodel jobs on Victorian houses. And I just said, yeah, I'll do it, because I've already done it before. I've done it for a million other contractors. My business right now is kind of turning to remodeling and custom built-ins and custom type of projects.
I first discovered Willow Carpentry on Instagram, and Pete has certainly been taking advantage of Burlington's growing online community.
My brother suggested me to go on Instagram because I was hurting for work like 2 years ago. And he's like, you should just go on Instagram, try it out, and just try to spread it and use hashtags. And I was like, what is that? What is going on? So, I did a lot of background research and on marketing and everything, advertising. Man, it's been a fun trip because it's like I get to see everyone else's products and everyone else out there that's sharing, and it's kind of like it's competitive. We all kind of want to share and beat the other person out with a better product or a better design. You learn a lot, through social media and Instagram. So
I asked Pete about Burlington recently being labeled a boom town.
Oh, I'm super happy about that because business couldn't be any better. I'm busy, I'm months behind, which is good, but got to look for more guys. Got to find some quality craftsmen around here that would, also have a passion, help me out a little more. Other than that, I'm happy with what I'm doing, one-man, two-man crew. It's my passion, so having all this work and being able to just do what I do, what I love every single day is the best.
With a conviction for his craft and business, I inquired about the future of Willow Carpentry.
I would say a large scale cabinetry business where we've got craftsmen, local craftsmen and artisans, from doing woodworking to pottery. You know, you can mix it up, but I want to have like a type of craft shop where people, you know, can find us online, they can find us locally. We'll have like a large open store, you know, storefront where people can come in and shop around and see what kind of products we have, or trying to show what the new stuff is. But you know, I still want to have the remodeling part of it and the carpentry part of it, because it kind of like, it all intertwines together. You know, I like having my hands in everything.
Pete's dedication to his business and yielding results from his craft and the accompanying Burlington boom is making Willow Carpentry a homegrown success and giving renewed meaning to Made in Burlington. From Willow Carpentry's Burlington Workshop, I'm BNEWS reporter Tad Stefanak. Back to you in the studio.
Oh, very cool. Thanks, Tad. Board of Selectmen approved the printing of the warrant for the upcoming September town meeting this past Monday night. Two of the articles, one a general bylaw change and the other a zoning bylaw change, focus on banning the sale of recreational marijuana in Burlington. The articles had been proposed by the Ad hoc Marijuana Advisory Committee led by Planning Board member Barbara LaRue, who was at Monday night's Selectmen's meeting to answer any questions. She said that on the advice of town council, who was interpreting language coming out of the state, the path they are following to ban the sale of recreational marijuana is the two bylaw changes at town meeting, possibly followed by a ballot referendum at next April's town election. However, because of legislation signed by Governor Charlie Baker last month, the referendum may not be necessary. That bill states that any community that voted against legalizing recreational marijuana last November could ban it by a vote of the municipal leadership, such as the Board of Selectmen, City Council, or town meeting. Burlington voted 54 against and 45% in favor of legalization. LaRue stressed that the ban would only apply to the sale of recreational marijuana in town, either at dispensaries or weed bars. It would not impact medical marijuana sales. It would also not make possession of marijuana by of-age adults illegal or impact an individual's right to grow it in their own home. Well, now we go to BNews weatherman Peter Brown in our weather center for the latest forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Ian Casiola to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. And if you can believe it, we are well into the middle of August now, and it's hard to believe that we'll be looking at September and fall weather before you know it. But before we get to fall, we have some great weather coming up for the next 7 days. As you can see here, starting out our period on Thursday, we're going to be seeing temperatures fairly average again, which has been something we've seen for most of our summer. It's been a very average summer in terms of temperatures. Nothing really too cold and nothing too hot. As you can see temperatures around 80 to start out our Thursday. Going to be a little bit far from our record high, but interestingly enough, when we get into the beginning of next week, we may actually see temperatures warming up to near 90. So if you're really looking for that last bit of summer weather before you have to think about going back to work and to school, we have some great weather for you coming up. And of course, as you notice right here, our days keep getting shorter as we head further and further towards fall, that's for sure. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. And taking a look at this graphic, we're really not going to be seeing anything in the way of big rainstorms. We're not going to see anything coming up from the tropics at us. We're going to have just a typical August midsummer pattern. Now, starting out on Friday and going into the first part of Saturday, we're going to see a rather slow-moving warm front moving through the southern New England area and all, of course, through Burlington. This is going to bring us the chance of some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, looks like the biggest chance of that might be Friday afternoon into the evening into the very early parts of Saturday. So if you do have any plans out there Friday night, make sure that you bring an umbrella and a raincoat maybe with you. And this is going to be the start of some actually rather warm air heading towards us from the Ohio Valley. So you can see we're going to see temperatures well up into the 90s way down there. And that weather is going to be moving towards us as we get into the Monday and Tuesday time frame. But really, other than that, all we're going to be seeing is this high pressure center down near Washington, D.C., sliding to the east and setting up shop southeast of New England. That's going to be meaning some very nice conditions for us as we head into the third week of August. As we go ahead, there's a little bit going to be going on in space that's kind of interesting. Next Monday, on August 21st, there is going to be a total solar eclipse crossing the country from west to east now here. Unfortunately for us here in the Burlington area and all of New England really, and most of the Northeast, we're really going to be missing out on this. We're going to be quite a ways away from where the path of what we call totality for the eclipse. The closest it looks like it's going to get to us is going to be in Columbia, South Carolina. So if you're traveling anywhere in these areas on Monday, it's going to take maybe about 93 minutes for the shadow of the moon going in front of the sun to travel all the way across the U.S. So you can imagine that's pretty quick, but it's going to be definitely a spectacular sight if you get to travel to any of these locations to see the total solar eclipse on Monday, August 21st. As we go ahead, though, I'm going to show you some of the beautiful weather conditions we're going to be having here in the New England area. Now look at this starting on Thursday here in Burlington. Some beautiful weather for the middle of August. Temperatures around 80. Nice, cool, comfortable conditions at night. Again, as we get into Friday and Saturday, we're going to introduce that chance of a little bit of rain and rain activity, some thunderstorms as a warm front starts to move through. That's going to hold our temperatures down a little bit on Friday, down into the mid-70s. It's also going to be starting to bring up the humidity levels a little bit, so it might be a little bit uncomfortable for sleeping at night. But then look at this as we get into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I would actually venture to say on Tuesday we may want to add maybe as many as 5 or 6 degrees looking at the latest models. I think we're going to be heading towards the lower to maybe middle 90s as we get to Tuesday. And of course, as we get towards Wednesday, we're going to see the introduction of, again, some showers and thunderstorms as a cold front approaches us here in the Burlington area. But look at it again. Temperatures just great. Really where they should be for the late time in summer. Nothing too hot, but nothing cold, that's for sure. Some beautiful conditions. So everybody, get out there, soak up those last rays of summer, have a great week, and enjoy the weather.
Hello and welcome to your community calendar. First up, kids, did you do your summer reading? On Friday, August 25th, from 3 to 4 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having their summer reading finale for teens and grades entering grades 6 through 12. There will also be prizes for the winners of the summer reading raffle and ice cream. No registration is necessary and the event is also free. For more info, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. Next, he was a good little monkey, but he was always very curious. On Saturday, August 26th at 10 a.m., the Kitty Academy in Burlington is having a Storytime live event with Curious George. Come see the monkey who loves to play games, have fun, and of course, be curious. The event is free and everyone is welcome to attend. For more info and to register, visit caststory.com/registration or call 781-362-4755. Next, Who Let the Dogs Out? On Saturday, August 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Burlington Dog Park will be having their second annual Burlington Goes to the Dogs fundraiser event. The event will feature family-friendly activities and dog-related activities as well. There will also be contests, food trucks, and much more. The event is free, everyone is welcome, including dogs. Don't forget to bring money for food and drinks. Your dog must be on a leash. For more info about this event, visit burlingtondogpark.com. This has been your community calendar. I'm Ian Cacciola. Back to you in the studio.
Well, a quick note, Ian Cacciola, who's been doing our community calendar for the last couple years now, is moving on from BCAT. He's starting college next week, and so we wish him all the best of luck and thank him for his time as a volunteer and all the voiceover work he did for us. Good luck to Ian. Well, another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo shows something we featured in a previous photo of the week, but the photographer's take on it makes it too cool not to share. It was sent in by Christine Nicoloro and is of the rock wall behind the high school that members of the incoming senior class used to feature their names. However, as you can see, she warped the image using something called a lens ball that makes the photo truly unique. That is something, wow. Well, that's it for this week's news. Thanks for tuning in to BNEWS Weekly. This week we're going to leave you with a special video on Monday night. Religious and political leaders from the area gathered at Bedford High School to lead an anti-hate vigil in the wake of the aforementioned violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. We were there and have this brief look. We'll see you next week.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. shall overcome someday. Black and white together. Black and white together. Black and white together. Black and white together. Some